Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Venismecha Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Venismecha Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Venismecha Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Venismecha Uru Uru Uruchim Urachim belev sameach Uruachim belev sameach Uruachim belev sameach Uruachim belev sameach Uruachim Uruachim Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Venismecha Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Venismecha Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Venismecha Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Havana Ranana Venismecha Uru Uruachim, Uruachim, belev sameach, Uruachim, belev sameach, Uruachim, belev sameach, Uruachim, belev sameach, Uruachim, 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 belev sameach. Hava Nagila Venismecha. Let's rejoice and be glad. Hava Naranana Venismecha. Let's sing and be glad. Uru Uru Hakim. Awaken, awaken, brethren. Belev Sameach. With a happy heart. Welcome to Hebrew Perspectives. Thank you for joining us on our weekly study. What we do here is in the description of the YouTube video, and on Facebook, if you're a part of the Facebook group, the Facebook page, we do the weekly readings. The weekly Torah portion is posted on Sunday each week, and yes, Shabbat Shalom, Anthony. Yes, Shabbat Shalom. And so we do that, and then each day we post the aliyah, the readings for that day, the same readings that the Messiah and his disciples would have been reading. And so today's Torah portion, again, welcome to Hebrew Perspectives, where we bring the Hebrew perspective. Pardon me. So there's one thing that, let's see here. This week's Torah portion is Vayishlach. Vayishlach is the Hebrew for "and he sent," and he sent, and that is our Torah portion. And remember, Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. Vayishlach begins in Genesis chapter 32 and verse number 4, and each year we do this. We've been doing this for I think this is our 3rd year through doing videos. This has been a great enjoyment to me. Some people don't make it this far in the video. Maybe they don't like the singing in the beginning. Maybe it just doesn't capture them right away. Then there's also people that are just put off by certain Jewish things, and it's like, and that's Hebrew Perspectives was born out of bringing Christians, apostolics, Christians, bringing them together with Jewish people and having a mutual understanding and helping apostolics to understand where they come from. Now, because I want you to think about this very clearly. And a lot of people don't give this a chance. For some reason, people's programming just shuts off, and they tune out, and they can't hear anymore. Had a conversation that with somebody that literally said they don't need the Old Testament at all. I don't like that phrase, Old Testament, because he told me that the commandments of God were old, worn out, and useless. And now, using logic, what he just said was that the Word of God is old, outdated, and useless. But again, like I said, people don't know what they don't know, and they've been programmed. And a lot of times people don't want to hear videos. And then when you try to communicate with somebody through text, people don't understand completely all the time. They don't know what's behind the text sometimes. And so people misunderstand, or they already have their preconceived notion as to, or how they're perceiving it. So there's people that, why is everybody yelling at me, on Facebook, but, or whatever social media it is that you go onto. But it's like I said, it's unfortunate that some people, and then on the other side of it, so let's think of it this way. Okay. In the world of Christianity, they look at the Jewish people, and what do they see? They see rock throwing heresy in Israel, or whatever it is. They see everybody in black and white, payout down the side, big giant furry hats, whatever it is. There's little differences here and there, but when people look at them, they look and they see the whole thing. They see everything as one. But there's many, many different sects of Judaism. Whereas Jews, they look at Christianity, and you may say, I'm a Baptist, I'm an apostolic, I'm a Presbyterian. All they hear is that you're a Catholic. That's all they hear. To them, everything is all one thing. So you can see how there's this gap between the two sides. And basically, Hebrew Perspectives was a desire to help people come together and have an understanding of each other. Okay, that's what it's really all about. Now, and in the process, we get to do a Torah study. We get to learn from Hebrew sages, thousands of years of vetted scholarship that helps us to understand our walk with God. And so that's what it is. So now, again, I said it's unfortunate. So many people tune out, and I'll tell you, it's the Satan, cursed be he, that is trying to keep it going this way rather than coming this way. And today we're going to talk about prophecy and revelation. Prophecy and revelation. So let's begin with our Torah. Before we do the Torah blessing, there's one thing that I wanted to do before we do the Torah blessing. There's just a reminder that those of you that have asked about getting a tallit, please go through Gabriella Tallit. It's easy to find. If you do a Google search, Gabriella Tallit, I'll try to remember to put it in the on the broadcast. A link to click on, and then just to remind them that Hebrew Perspective sent you. And then there's another thing that I wanted to, before we get started, I wanted to do that. You've probably seen the ads on Facebook. It's called Lev HaOlam. All right. Lev HaOlam is something that you can subscribe to. And what it is you are helping support businesses in Israel. So I think it's $99 a month. And basically what you're doing is you're helping support people that are businesses that are actually in Israel. In the past, and we've been involved in, there's this thing you heard more about it a little while ago, but it was called BDS, Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions. People that basically hate Israel so much, they're boycotting Israeli businesses. And that's unfortunate. But what you'll get when they send you a box, once a month, and this is really cool. Okay, this is really cool. And on the top of the box, there's and then on the top of the box, and but there's just, we're not going to go through everything in it because I've got 2 boxes, and I just wanted to share these with you. Again, we don't get anything out of this. Supporting Lev Halolam, we don't. That's not what we're about here. But I want to just be able to, if you want to be able to help. I mean, they're here. So this theme this month is about the Dead Sea. So here's a nice book about the Dead Sea, and then they just, here's a pretty good postcard. Dead Sea. And then in the box, boy, there's all kinds of things. You've got some date honey. My wife just used this in a recipe not too long ago. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm sure it was good. And then, so if you want to, look at this. Some Dead Sea soap. Yep, get yourself all cleaned up. And let's see here, what else we got? And even some toothpaste. Interesting, right? Yeah, sure. Oh, look at this. Here we go. We have some Dead Sea salt. Yeah, some actual Dead Sea salt. That's awesome. All right, and so then let's see here what else we've got. Okay, this here, they packed this box pretty good. Here is a Dead Sea. It's a Dead Sea candle, handmade. So a lot of these things they're handmade. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. All right. And then they like, and there's always goodies. Everyone likes goodies, right? Salted caramel toffee. I love toffee. And that's pretty much, you kind of get something like this each month. Basically, Lev Ha'olam means the heart of, basically it's the heart, and forever. So it's like, it's one thing about Israel, Am Yisrael High, is that everyone looks to Israel. Everyone looks, prophecy, revelation in the end. Everything is tied to the Holy Land. Whether people, that's why it doesn't matter who it is. Somebody there's people are always looking toward Israel, whether it's with hatred or with love. And a lot of times, again, like we say on the Christian side of it, people are looking at it for basically for prophecy. And we're going to get to that, but I just wanted to go through one more box here. All right. Now, so I got an extra box for Hanukkah, and there's Maccabee heart here, or art, and you can learn about it. And then, oh wow, let's look at this. Okay, so here is Hineni in Hebrew is "Here I am," very famous. Here I am. You hear some people say "Here am I," Hineni, and in this is the Hineni menorah. Oh, there's a special cover for it. It says Hineni on it, and then in the box is the menorah. Ah, beautiful, right? Wow, that's just beautiful. And then let's see here, what else have they included with this? We've got some dates. I love dates. And let's see here, what else do we have? We have there's even some hand cream. daily usage stuff. They give you some stuff that's just so it's kind of it's really neat. And then let's see here, what else do we have? The actual candles for the menorah, and then we've got all kinds of goodies in this one. We've got some roasted cashews, some caramelized almonds. How about a bar of white chocolate with hazelnut praline? And then we have something here called argan oil, anti-aging moisturizing cream. Well, for those of you that want to look young, age-defying cream, right? Age-defying. All right, so just a little taste of that, just so that you can see what that's like. And if you want to support them, that's great. Like I said, you're supporting businesses that are in Israel, and you're helping them out, and that's great. So I know that was a little bit of a delay, and I know you want to get to the Torah insights, and so do I, because this is what excites me, is to get into what we're talking about. So let's go with the Torah blessing. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves in the words of Torah. Please, Lord our God, sweeten the words of Torah in our mouth and in the mouth of your people, the family of Israel. May we and our offspring and the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, all of us, know your name and study your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Lord our God, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Blessed are you, Lord our God, of the King of the universe, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. And as the blessing says, may Torah study always be sweet to you. Now, here we go. All right, I'm trying to remember what it was that we talked about last year. I think we spent some time. Actually, I really don't remember. I've been trying to do a little bit better about updating my notes and putting dates. Or it reminds me, I need to put a date on this one. Today is the 14th. All right. Vayishlach, and he sent. That's in the Hebrew there. Vayishlach Yaakov Melachim. Vayishlach Yaakov Melachim. Then Jacob sent angels. Now, my first question is, who are these angels? Where did they come from? How is it that Jacob seems to have this power to command angels? Now, we've talked about this before. We all have our own angel, has been with us from the womb, taught us Torah, right? And so also, that's just a reminder. I'll also put a link for Lev HaOlam for the box in there too. Commanding angels. Now I realize that we are no Jacob, but yet he's a human being. He was a human being just like we are. A heel grabber, trickster, right? His name change is a little bit is different than Abraham and Sarah's, right? And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason why Abraham and Sarah are not called what their former names were. As a matter of fact, Judaism doesn't mention them unless it's in a setting like this where you're teaching. Then the name is used. But Abraham and Sarah are never referred to their former names. Part of that is because, a good portion of that is because they were converts, and that's the name change disconnected them from their pagan past. All right, so That's there you have it. So, but again, the power to send angels. Well, let's go back a little bit. We'll probably touch a little bit on some previous Torah portions to help us to understand this from like last week and the week before. But anyway, so Jacob and Esau, they're a very interesting group of, they're very interesting twins. Remember, they're twins. They're very different from each other, but yet, if you think about it, they're both from the same father. Now, throughout all of sources in Judaism, you will notice that Esau eventually becomes Rome. Rashi talks about how they moved to Italia, the descendants. One of the descendants of Esau is Amalek, who it becomes a thorn in the side of the Jewish people, right? Amalek. A descendant of Amalek is Haman in the story of Queen Esther. Again, trying to wipe out trying to wipe out the Jewish people. And for those of you, if you've gotten this far into the video and you haven't given up, and this because this is what I was telling you about, is Hebrew, Jew, Israelite, there are synonymous terms named after. It's not just Jews because of the tribe of Judah. That's not what it. That's not at all what it is. We talk about this, and we have to say this every week to clarify. And hopefully, people start getting this. He's, Yeshua, the King of the Jews. That's the sign over him. It's Judah has to do with the name. So, in other words, and people say, "Well, Jew's not in the Bible." Well, actually, it is. And what just reminded me of that is the story of Esther. Because what does it say? It says Mordecai, the Jew. Haman is upset with Mordecai, the Jew. This Jew that will not bow down to him. Mordecai, the Jew. Was Mordecai of the tribe of Judah? No. He was the tribe of Benjamin. But everyone is called by the line of the king. All right, there you have it. You're welcome. No extra charge for that. So, and then after Haman, some say, and I don't know this for sure or not, but basically they say that that Hitler was also a descendant of Amalek, which led to one of the worst disasters of killing 6 million Jews. And may we never forget that. Zachor. Remember. Now, my wife and I, we recently got 2 puppies. A little Cavapoo and a little Yorkie Poo. And a lot of emphasis on the poo. And these 2, it doesn't matter whether it's a toy, a stick, whatever it is, you give them each one, and each one of them wants what the other one wants. So you'll see them playing tug of war over one piece of rope, one stick, one chew toy, whatever it is. They each got a corner of it in their mouth, and they're walking around side by side. It's hilarious, okay? But they're always wanting what the other one has. And again, so this reminds me of Jacob and Esau. So Jacob, he wants what Esau has. Now, you're thinking, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, this was a sibling rivalry, just like any other sibling rivalry. According to Rene Girard, the desire to have something that someone else has is actually a desire to be someone else. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles that we have in life, is just being ourselves, trying to find who we are and what our purpose is in life. Looking inward, it almost seems like it's like your society and everything that's bombarding you is teaching you to be somebody else. Be like Mike. Whatever it is. you know, people wanted Michael Jordan. People wanted to be him. And can you blame him? He was successful, you know. But that's really what the name of Jacob is all about. Remember the story is basically imagine being Isaac. He's standing outside the tent. Rebecca's giving birth, and all of a sudden he hears a midwife say, "Oh my, this first one, he's red and hairy. He may as well be full grown." That's what Esau, that's red, hairy, and the sages will tell you that it was like this kid was developed. There's like, and back then miracles like this are just crazy, right? Remember, there are certain individuals in Judaism that were born circumcised, and so there's just amazing things that happen in here and there. So, and then, then all of a sudden to hear the midwife, all of a sudden say, "Wow, here comes the next one," and he's got a hold of his brother's heel. Here's Jacob already wanting what his brother has. And when it comes down to it, Jacob, what does he do? He wants his brother's birthright, right? He took his brother's clothes. Remember the cloak of Adam? Rebecca had it in her closet. Esau had it for a short time, killed Nimrod and took it from him. And now that coat eventually ends up being the coat that Joseph wears, the coat that ends up being dipped in blood. Revelation talks about a vesture, about him coming with a vesture dipped in blood, right? So what was it that Jacob was wanting from because he took his brother's blessing. What was he doing? He was being his brother. He even says right there, he even says before he gets the blessing, he says, "I am Esau, your firstborn." He's not being who he is, right? So why did he want to be Esau? Why did he want to be Esau? It could be the one thing that Jacob did not have that Esau did have was Esau had his father's love. Remember now, Esau and Jacob, they both have the same father. Remember who Isaac is? We learned about this just not too long ago. Isaac is the exact spitting image of his father Abraham. If you've seen me, you've seen the father, right? Who laid his life down on the altar and was resurrected. So you can see how the Messiah he's an image of the Messiah. So who is born out of the Messiah? Jacob and Esau. Jacob, the Jewish people. Esau, Edom, Christianity. Esau had his father's love. He had a taste for wild game. He loved Esau. But remember, it was Rebecca loved Jacob. So Jacob had his mom's love, but he was desiring his father's love. As we get into some future Torah portions in here, and the story of Joseph and how much more that pictures it. When the brothers are finally shown who Joseph is. So you can see. So what is the one thing that Christianity has right now? The majority of Christianity they're really mixed up, and it's just and trying to get them organized and get them back on the right path is not necessarily easy. A lot of it's steeped in idolatry. Okay, that's just this. There's just steeped in idolatry. There's nothing you, not can you say there's nothing you can do about it, but you feel like it's insurmountable in what needs to be done. But you have the Jewish people who don't, some sects of Judaism will accept a Messiah, but anyone but this Mashiach that we're looking at, that we have. So Esau has the Messiah, and Jacob does not, but Jacob will see the Messiah. You can see how at some point all of this is going to come together. So we fast forward a little bit here to where Jacob is wrestling an angel, and his name is changed to Israel in this great wrestling match. This match between Jacob and the angel, who we know is God, because afterwards he says that I've wrestled with God, I've had with God and I survived. Again, on the Jewish side of it, stay away from saying that it's God. Why? Because of Esau's Christian Messiah. You see what I'm trying to say here? The two groups, you got the Christianity that says, I don't want to do anything to do with Jewish people. And it's a little bit of an insult and nears anti-Semitism when you say those things. In this world today, people have no problem with bashing each other, and it's unfortunate. And then social media has made it even easier because people are even braver sitting behind their keyboard, being keyboard warriors. But this wrestling match, his name's changed to Israel. So the name, so what that means, it says, for you have wrestled with God and with man and have prevailed. So there's also two other things that are involved in this. In the Hebrew, it's basically, lost my place in my notes. It has to do with the word Sar. You've heard of Sar Shalom, Prince of Peace. You've heard that before. Sar means prince or royalty, right? And Yashar means upright. This is the name. Both of these meanings are in sharp contrast as to who Jacob was. Jacob his name is the one who's holding on to his brother's heel. He wasn't being himself, so to speak. Now, what we understand is with Jacob here, this name change was actually a challenge from God, telling him to live up to his name. To live up to his name. So it could be read as, let your name no longer be Jacob, but Israel, meaning act in such a way that it is what people call you. Be a prince, be royalty, be upright, be yourself. Don't long to be someone else. Again, on the Jewish side, if you look at it, you look at the sages and you look at even a lot of Judaism today, people misunderstand it, but we're talking about people that follow the Torah. What follow the commandments? What is that? It's joy, love, peace. It's all of that. But people tend to throw the negative out there, and the same thing happens on the other side. Not everybody is a bad Catholic priest. So when we continue to read on, we find that both Jacob and Israel are used. Because it says he says your name will no longer be broken down by the sages, when you look at it in the Hebrew, it can be read as your name will, the words are escaping me. Your name will not exclusively be Jacob. Your name will not exclusively be Jacob. So, like we said, Abram was changed to Abraham. Sarai was changed to Sarah. It was an addition of a letter. Jacob's is totally different. Abraham and Sarah was cutting their ties to their pagan pasts. Israel, the name Israel, is an entirely new name representing a complete change of character. I want you to think about that for a moment. When you come to the knowledge of Mashiach, it should bring about a change of character. Not an immediate change, but a change that starts growth towards the type of character that God wants us to have. Hebrew perspectives, again, bringing them together, bringing the two groups together, because this is prophetic. It's not something we're trying to rush along and move along and you know what I'm saying? You're just trying to do our part and helping others to educate each other. This is why it's so hard to go to a Jewish person as a Christian and try to win them. It's not going to work. The majority of Jewish people that recognize Jesus as a Messiah, they're messed up into the pagan messed up part of it. Either they're involved in the Trinity, whatever it is. There's very few that actually those that will tell you the Messiah is Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, and there may be some hidden ones out there. You know what I'm saying? Because of peer pressure and things like that. So on the Christian side of it, so you have this deep, rich history of Judaism, and then you have Christianity, which is actually new. I know it's been around a couple of thousand years, but as compared to 6,000 years or 5,785, it says on my calendar. It's a long time. And yet when you talk to Christians, and like this one I just talked to just recently, he's like, he basically told me, you can't teach me anything. There's a lot of arrogance on both sides. And it's unfortunate. It really is. Because here you have this think of it as this big castle. Just a big castle, and inside this castle, everywhere the Jewish people are all going around inside the castle and rummaging through closets and digging in drawers and lifting things up and moving things around, and seeking whatever they can. Whereas Christianity, they've got the Mashiach. What else do we need? They're just standing in the foyer. Which, if you've been to a church, you'll notice a lot of people standing around in the foyer anyway. So as I was saying, in rabbinic literature, we find that the descendants of Esau, they inhabit the area of Atalia. I want you to think about this. I want you to think very carefully about this, okay? Historically, I've got that Hanukkah box, and read up on the story of Hanukkah. What was going on there? It was the Greeks trying to Hellenize the Jewish people. And what did, and people, then you got people like Antiochus Epiphanes. What did they do? They said, Torah is outlawed. And then as a slap in the face, let's take a pig and slaughter it on the altar. Desecrating the very stones of the altar. So you can see the fight throughout the years has never been a good one. To this day, when somebody says, I'm on a crusade for Christ, I'm thinking, what, you're killing Jews? Because that's what crusaders did. They were told that if they killed a Jew along the way to the Holy Land, to free the Holy Land, that they were gained immediately entrance to heaven. So kill a Jew on the way. Sounds horrible, doesn't it? It was very horrible. This is why here I am in the middle. I'm trying to help Christians understand Judaism. And it's even harder to help people in Judaism to understand Christianity. Ears close. The ears close. It's difficult. Israel has always been at war with Rome, both physically and spiritually. Right? At one point, during the Second Temple era, Rome came in without even shooting an arrow and took over. And over the years, the Jewish people have faced some of the harshest persecution. Persecution from the descendants of Esau. Told to convert or die, assimilate and live. Assimilation is never the answer either. There are Jewish people that pretended to be Christians, Catholic Christians, in order to survive. This is why there's certain areas within Catholicism where, some things were lost along the way. Why? Because assimilation people always end up losing out. They find in New Mexico, there was a group of people that was, they didn't even realize why they were assembling together on Friday night and lighting candles. They'd kind of lost the heritage to it. Hello, Timothy. Thank you for joining. So they were told to convert or die, assimilate and live. And like I said, assimilation never worked. You know what? The Jews have just wanted to be left alone to study Torah. Everywhere the Jewish people have been scattered all over, which is actually, if you think about it, that's a blessing. Because everywhere the Jewish people have gone, for the most part, wherever they've gone has thrived. That area thrives. A blessing comes into that area. And then jealousy happens and people turn on them. So Jacob dispatches angels. And I asked that question in the beginning. Jacob just grabs a couple angels. They were all just sitting there hanging out. And he said, hey, you guys, I need you to go send a message to Esau. That's just what I like to, think about it. That's basically, isn't that the kind of spiritual level people would love to be on? Is to be able to just command angels to, hey, will you please go to my boss and tell him I won't be in today? All right. No, don't necessarily. That's probably why we don't have angels, because we probably misuse them in that way. But Jacob Did he have angels that accompanied him that he could see? Remember, malachim, angels, are messengers. It's the same word in Hebrew, messengers. So did and he obviously he had some kind of authority. So now, contrary to what many people believe about angels, is that man is superior to angels. That's right. You heard it here first, folks. Man is superior to the angels. Why? Because we have something that angels can never have. It's called free will. Free will. Now, Hollywood has sold the lie for a long time that when you died, you became an angel. That's the way it was for me growing up watching television. I heard that a lot. I don't know if it's so much nowadays. Now, people have a totally different agenda when it comes to television nowadays. And it's all about pulling you away from God and continuing this separation that we're talking about. Actually, becoming an angel would be a downgrade. You don't want to become an angel. That'd be a downgrade for you. God created us with the ability to rise above the animalistic nature that Esau has. So there's an interesting thing that happens. Let's go back to this wrestling match, right? There's an interesting thing that happens. So he comes out of it with a limp. He gets touched on the side, and it gives him a limp. And even in the Torah, it says to this day, this is why the rear portion of an animal is not eaten in kosher slaughter. This limp, what does it do? It causes him to be bent down low, humble. So when we read further on in this Torah portion, when Jacob and Esau do finally meet, it's Esau that comes running to Jacob, not the other way around. It's basically, we think about it this way. It's Christianity is going to run to Judaism, not the other way around. Now, stay with me. Stay with me. This is very, very prophetic. Again, Esau may be Rome and Jacob Israel. But again, let me remind you, they have the same father. And their father is a Messiah. So we have the same father. All right. One side of it, on the Jewish side, it's like he will never be. He will never be our king. And who said that? The brothers of Joseph. There's your picture, right? We'll talk more about that when that comes around. Esau wanted to kill his brother. Remember that? He wanted to kill his brother. There's the whole story as to why, and I think we covered it in a couple of portions of code, maybe from the year before, but as to why Jacob was broke when he saw Rachel, and this is why he cried. Why did he cry? Because he was broke. It takes money to get a bride. Now he's going to have to work for her. And what happened to the money? Well, according to a midrash, it says that Esau sent his son out, Eliphaz, to kill him. And when Eliphaz caught up with Jacob, the convincer that he was, convinced him to take everything that he had and tell your dad that you took everything that I have and I'm as good as dead because now I'm broke. So he begged back. Eliphaz went back to Esau and he said, here's what happened. Esau was mad, but then in the end he was like, hell, he's not going to survive very long. So he was content. That's the midrash. So, but the point is that Esau wanted to kill Jacob. Can you see how this is also in the future? Now, many commentators will tell you that in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, he talks about a red dragon. Okay, red Esau. Remember, Esau is Rome, Christianity. Now, for those of you, I know you're listening to me and you're a Christian, please understand. I'm trying to be delicate here. This is not a knock against you. Just showing you that in the book of Revelation, what it's talking about. Many commentators, scholars agree that the red dragon in there is Christianity. It's obviously a pagan Christianity. And who are they warring against? Believers that are following the commandments and the Mashiach, the Messiah, Yeshua. Got it? Chapter 9 of Revelation, many scholars and say that is actually talking about Obadiah. So I want you to take some time. You'll notice that the Haftorah portion this week was Obadiah. Read the book of Obadiah with this in mind. And remember also, Obadiah was a convert. What was he a convert of? He's a descendant of Esau. Cool, huh? Yeah. So you can see how some of these things fit together. So, and we don't have the time to fit all this in. So I'm asking, so go read 9 and 12 of Revelation. Go grab the book of Obadiah. Do this research on your own. Please do. Please do. The two brothers are coming together in the future. It will take humility on both sides. Esau falls upon the neck of Jacob and hugs and kisses him. Do you see this? Isaiah 2:2 says, and it shall be at the end of days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be firmly established at the top of the mountains, and it shall be raised above the hills, and all the nations shall stream to it. What nations? Just a few? All the nations will stream to it, and many people shall go, and they shall say, come, let us go up to the Lord's mount, to the house of the God of Jacob, and let him teach us his ways. That's the Torah. That's commandments. Have you noticed that a lot of people on the Christian side are becoming more and more, I want to know more about these commandments? It's another one of these things why on Facebook, why we've been sharing a commandment each day and breaking that down into details on that. And again, this is another one of those things where I've kind of gotten a few shots at me because of posting these things. And it's like, if anything, at the minimum, you can learn something from this. But people don't want to learn. All right, where was I? His ways, his commandments. And we will go in his paths. We will follow the commandments. For out of Zion shall the Torah come forth, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. What is the word of the Lord? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's the Messiah. It's the Mashiach. The Word is going to come forth from Jerusalem. Who are we trying to be? When we're afraid and we are unsure of ourselves, we're a lot like Jacob. When we are strong in ourselves, as ourselves, we are like Israel. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to be different. It's easy to live in the moment like Esau does. Again, don't get offended by this. This is one of the things that Christianity struggles with is character development. Like I said, people, they get the Messiah and that's it. What else do I need? I don't need any of that Jewish stuff. I don't need any of that Torah. Yes, you do. It says you're going to get it. Unless we don't want to go there. This is powerful stuff. Powerful, powerful stuff. Are we embarrassed to be who we are? That's a challenge. Or can we be like Israel? Embarrassed to be like Jacob, who was basically trying to be someone else. He was trying to be his brother. Or are we more like Israel? Do we have the courage to stand upright and walk in the path of faith? Again, like I was saying, the majority of Christianity, not everyone, but the majority of Christianity have faith. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Nope. That's actually being more like Jacob. Be like Israel. Have the courage to stand upright and walk in the path of faith. What is faith? Faith is doing. That's following commandments. That's following commandments. After all, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess, right? That's going to be both sides. Again, we have a lot of arrogance happening out there. But how would we like to be able to command angels? And he sent. That's what Vayishlach means. And he sent. Yisa Shem Panav Alecha. Yisa Shem Panav Alecha. Visem Lecha. Visem Lecha. Shalom. Yevarechecha. Yair Hashem Panav Alecha. Yevarechecha. Yair Hashem Panav Alecha Vikunecha. Yisa Shem Panav Alecha. Yisa Shem Panav Alecha. V'yasem lecha. V'yasem lecha. Shalom.